Well, it's National Preparedness Month, the month of September, and Fire Prevention Week. We're going to find out more right now with firefighter first class Ken White and emergency coordinator Hannah Thomas, who joins us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hey, thanks for stopping by. Now, you're with the fire department, of course, Officer White. And how about you, Hannah? Which organization are you with?
The Annapolis Office of Emergency Management.
Okay, so two different places, organizations represented this morning. Okay, who wants to go first?
So I can go first. October 7th through the 13th this year, 2018, the National Fire Protection Association are the official sponsors of Fire Prevention Week. And this year, the Annapolis Fire Department is teaming up with the National Fire Protection Association to promote the theme, Look, Listen, Learn, Be Aware, Fire Can Happen Anywhere. And what we want to stress to our citizens is the importance of using these senses, using these items to look for places fire can start in your home, listen for the sounds of smoke alarms, but also learn two ways out of every room. So every year we do Fire Prevention Week theme, and this year we're kind of putting it all together to stress the importance of being prepared in case of an emergency.
Okay, well, Officer, what is some of the places that a fire is likely to start in the house? I guess people think of their kitchen or in kitchen fires and grease fires and things like that, but what do you think?
So the holidays are coming up, and with the holidays coming up, most families spend time in the kitchen, and so the kitchen is where a majority of fires start. Cooking fires, leaving probably things plugged up, walking away while you're cooking. That's an important aspect we want to stress is making sure you don't leave any cooking unattended. And if you're not using any items in the kitchen or electronic devices, make sure you unplug them before leaving the home. But most importantly, keeping at least a good 3 feet of space around stoves or any hot surfaces. And if you're doing any cooking, keep the kids out the kitchen.
And the dogs.
And the dogs, that's correct.
I know we got a little puppy right now, and we haven't had a little puppy in years, and I'm trying to cook something. All of a sudden, that dog's by my feet, and I said, I'm going to walk off this dog. It's going to be a disaster. Okay, that's good advice. And you think about that. I think of another area might be addressed is, and you mentioned unplugging, appliances and things. I remember when I was a kid, my grandparents used to unplug everything. Mm-hmm. They'd unplug TV sets. They weren't using them. They were unplugged back then. Because I guess they grew up before they had electricity in houses, and so they still had that sort of fear.
Right. Yeah. And my father was the same way. He taught us to unplug everything. And he actually works in the D.C. Fire Department. So we honestly didn't understand until we got a little bit older. And we're like, okay, that's why Dad wants us to unplug things. Now, for my grandmother, it was because it was running up her light bill, as she says. She didn't. But it's more so for safety too, as well, because those devices, electronic appliances, they can heat up. If there's a short in the cord, something can happen. And if you're not there in the kitchen or anywhere around, and not just in the kitchen, because fire can start anywhere. And so we just want everyone to be aware and look around your home and make sure that your home is safe and learn two ways out of every room, just in case. Hopefully you won't ever have to experience that. But
I remember working for my uncle years ago in my early 20s, and they had a fire inspection service, for insurance companies, and I was working for him, and I walked into one home in Montgomery County that was a shared home with lots of roommates, and I see this extension cord, and it was split level. It was going from down in the living room, coming up over and going under a rug. And I said, that's a fire hazard. You can't put extension cords under a rug. And the guy was saying, yeah, I don't know where it's going. And he opens up one door, and he had never been in the room before, and it was full of marijuana plants.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Yeah, one of our biggest pet peeves is seeing extension cords plugged into other extension cords. Going into power strips. That supply major appliances. Your washer, your dryer, your refrigerators. All those things need dedicated sources. So you want to make sure you don't have extension cords plugged in extension cords running under carpets and running other things in your home that draw a lot of power. But also we wanted to bring to the public's attention that October 20th at the Eastport Fire Station, we're going to be doing a fire prevention day, and it's going to be from 12 to 4, and we're going to have all sorts of activities for the family, for the kids, all sorts of things you can learn and giveaways. So
okay, that's on the 20th. That sounds terrific. Well, good advice, Officer. Now we're going to bring Hannah into the mix, the emergency coordinator. What's your role here?
Yes, so September is National Preparedness Month. National Preparedness Month provides an opportunity to remind us that we all must prepare ourselves and our families now and also throughout the year. This year, the National Preparedness Month is kind of focusing on planning with the overarching theme of disasters happen, prepare now, learn how. So specifically, they're talking about making and practicing your plan, learning life-saving skills, checking your coverage, and saving for an emergency. So we've been out in the community this month kind of trying to promote that. We went to the ASPCA and helped out with their vaccination clinic and helping them with some emergency supplies. We did a Preparedness Expo with the county this weekend. We've also been to the West Marine shop giving out whistles for boaters. And then coming up soon, we're doing a poster contest with Annapolis schools, the elementary schools with the 4th and 5th graders. And we pick 3 winners from each school, and they come in and we show them how to be emergency managers for the day and kind of how to prepare for an emergency on their small scale.
Okay, we're thinking about emergencies. Now, what emergencies come to light here?
So I think the biggest one right now, and the one that we're kind of seeing, is hurricanes. So we are in hurricane season that doesn't end till November 30th. So we're still kind of dealing with whatever might happen there. It's not quite done yet, unfortunately.
Yeah, and then you have the winter storm season.
Exactly, winter storm. You also have kind of Kenny was hitting on some fires. You have really anything that could possibly happen. We had last week the potential for tornadoes with the remnants of Hurricane Florence. So really just preparing for anything you might have.
You know, you can prepare for these things, thinking about hurricanes. And I guess the first thing that comes to mind is power loss. And everybody's in the dark, and they don't have any power, and they want to get a generator, and they don't hook it up right, and they have problems there.
Exactly, yeah. Those power outages and power loss is one of the bigger emergencies that we see because it could happen anytime, it can happen for any reason, but having those supplies that you might need in the event of an emergency, like a power outage, would be good. So having an emergency kit, having that flashlight in there, having extra water, extra food, you don't know how long it might be out, you don't know when you're going to be able to open your fridge next, so having stuff like that to help you keep comfortable.
Yeah, and one thing, and I guess the officer here could touch on this too, with generator use. You always hear of these people, there's always some tragedy, that pops up every year, right?
Correct, yep.
And there's somebody that has the generator in their garage or someplace instead of outdoors 15 feet away and blowing the other way or whatever.
Yeah, so running the generator inside, it can put out carbon monoxide, which is the silent killer. Carbon monoxide is known as the silent killer. And so with that, if you're going to have a generator, if you're going to have one installed professionally, we suggest having one installed professionally. But if not, if you're going to get a portable generator, leave it outside of the home. Have it nowhere in the home. If you don't run your cars inside, don't run your generator inside. And have carbon monoxide detectors as well. They make carbon monoxide and smoke alarm detectors. They make those. You can get the dual combination detectors, but have those in your home too as well. But keep your generators, keep those outside the house.
Yeah, I installed one a few years back, and I never had to use it. I thought, this is great. I spent all this money to put this generator in and never had to use it. And then finally last winter, I finally did use it. I mean, I started every month to make sure it runs and things like that. And it's, it's grounded. It's hooked up to a junction box and everything. Some people, though, I was talking to one building inspector, and he was saying they're running them through their dryers or something like that. That's dangerous.
Yeah. You see a lot of. We see a lot of I don't want to say crazy, but a lot of stuff that make you go wow.
Yeah.
And that's why we're out here educating the public, because sometimes it's just a lack of education as to what can happen and the dangers of it. So that's why we're out here.
Okay, and I guess one other thing we want to touch on before we have to leave, we talked about emergencies and things like that, but just common sense. I talked to a lot of people about clutter, and clutter is a big issue, especially as you get older. because you keep on absorbing all this stuff from people that went before you.
Yeah. So hoarding is a big issue that we're running into in the fire department, and what can happen is if you have an emergency at your house, sometimes when we go to these homes where there's a lot of clutter, we have a hard time getting inside the home, getting to the patients, and getting back out of the home. But if there's a fire, it can put not only the homeowner in danger, but it can put the firefighters in danger as well. So it's best to keep all aisles of your home, keep them clean. Remove any clutter. If you haven't used it in the past year, get rid of it. And, don't don't let it build up over time.
Yard sale time. All right. Flea markets. Here we go. All right. Hey, well, good to talk to both of you. Before you leave, give us information how we can get a hold of you, okay?
Yeah, so one of the biggest things that we have is a Prepare Me Annapolis app. It's a free app on iPhone, on Android. We can send you push alerts. You can see emergency checklists, traffic cams. So download that on the app stores. We also have Code Red, so sign up for Code Red. That's how we communicate with you in an emergency. And the last thing that we really like to push and to talk about is the fact that we have a special assistance roster. So if you, your friends, your family needs any help in an emergency, we are checking on you before, during, and after. So call our office. We're 410-216-9167, and we can add you to that.
Okay.
And you can reach out to the fire department. Phone number is 410-263-7975. But you can also reach out to us on Facebook at Annapolis Fire and Twitter on Annapolis Fire. And we're also on Nextdoor. So any questions you have, feel free to reach out to us on any social media.
Okay, well, thank you both for stopping by this morning to talk to us on 1430 WNAV, and hopefully your campaign is a success.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's Emergency Coordinator Hannah Thomas from the Annapolis Office of Emergency Management, and from the Annapolis Fire Department, Firefighter First Class Ken White joining us this morning on your hometown station.